Hey guys, Rick from Lifted Off-Road here with another video for the Lifted Off-Road shop. Hey, how do you know when your shocks are bad, or if you need to replace them, or if they're going bad? There's like no resistance on this. When you shake the vehicle, this is a Jeep Wrangler, short wheelbase, lightweight. So it's not gonna bounce up and down like some of the bigger cars will. But when you push up and down on it, you can tell that there's no resistance in there. And also on the road you can tell because the thing just bounces all over the place and it makes the ride terrible. So, and another way, you could push on it and it should kind of slowly come back up with the shocks working. And it doesn't, it just springs up and down. So, that's one of the ways you can tell if your shocks are bad. And I'll show you another clue after I get the camera unmounted underneath. But that's what I'm doing today. I'm replacing the shocks and the sway bar links. The rear sway bar links are bad too, so I got to do the shocks and the sway bar links. So thanks for joining me, and I'll get back with the shocks. Thanks for watching. Later. Alright guys, here we are underneath my Jeep. We're looking at the shocks. Let's see, I'll zoom out some more for you. This is the rear shock. Try to get the light right. I don't know if you can, so well you can see it, but see all that wetness? Oh, whoops. Didn't want to do that. Okay, there we go. See all that wetness right there? That's an indicator that your shocks are leaking too much. Come up here, you got your bumper thingy. Look at that. It's all loose. I don't think it's supposed to be that loose. And again, you can see the wetness under there. Look at that. All kinds of oiling. And there's nothing else under here in this vicinity that would produce that wetness like that. So that's the only thing with oil in it is the shock, and it got excessive wetness down here in the bottom where it all drips down the shaft and rests there. And as you can see here, that's probably loose from deterioration, like the oil just eating away at the rubber. They weren't that loose when I installed these. They were pretty snug. So that's the passenger side. We move over here to the driver's side, and you can see even more wetness. I mean, this one even looks worse. Of course, this one's not as loose. But look at that. Can you see that residue? And look up here. You got excessive wetness here. Now it's normal for these shafts to be a little bit damp sometimes, because I mean, it is going up into a cavity where it's filled with oil, so I mean, it's normal for these shafts to show a little bit of dampness, but not like that. It should not be that dirty or that wet. I mean, look at that. That's just terrible. So, and on a side note, you can kind of see where something else is leaking. I think that might be my brake cylinder. So I'll probably be doing a video about that. You see how the wetness is on top of the axle shaft? If the axle seal was leaking, the wetness should be down on the bottom side. But since it's on the top side, that's a good indicator that my brake wheel cylinder is leaking. And I haven't noticed any braking issues as far as driving goes. So I mean, I guess my brakes are still working alright, but that wetness is a good indicator that something's leaking. And since it's on the top like that, as I said, it's probably the wheel cylinder. So, but today's project is the shocks. I got some new shocks and some sway bar links. I would show you those, but maybe I'll show them to you when I take them off. It's hard to get under here right now. So let me get the Jeep jacked up. I got my jack stands ready to go. I don't know if you can see that one. Yeah, I got my jack stands ready to go. I got wheel chocks under the wheels. Right now I've got the Jeep in neutral with the brake off because I want to take these wheels off and look at that brake cylinder. So, and also taking off the wheels will make this job probably a little bit easier. So I'm going to get this thing jacked up and I will get to work. And I'll try to show you guys as much as I can. So it might be a long video or a short video, or maybe I'll just break it into clips, different parts for different days. Well, be back in a few. Oh, where's the button? Have I been recording? Yeah, okay, there it is. Alright folks, check this out. I got my old shocks right there, the nice dirty ones. Here's my new shock. Got some new Bilstein 5100s. And you can see I got that lined up somewhat. Come down here. Look at that. That's almost an inch difference. And these shocks aren't even extended all the way. So I ordered these shocks for a 3 to 4 inch lift, suspension lift. And you can see the difference in length. So after these are installed, the only thing that'll limit my suspension travel will probably be the springs or the track bar or something else. The shocks probably won't be limiting my suspension travel anymore. And they'll work a lot better. Let me show you something else. I think this was the worst one. If you hold that up, you can see that. I'm not putting any weight on this at all. And it's just sinking straight down to the bottom. That pretty much guarantees that these shocks are bad. So I ordered the Bilstein 5100s. They come with good reviews. A lot of people seem to like them. And they surprisingly weren't very expensive. So again, I ordered these for the 3 to 4 inch suspension lift, the Jeep Wrangler. And so that should be a lot better once I get those installed. As you can see, I got shocks for the front as well. In the front, you can see how that one mounts. So I got these for the front. And this shock, let's see. Okay, well this one's not as bad, but watch when I put some pressure on it. I mean, I'm only pushing on it with my finger and it's sinking right down. So that one's almost as bad as the other one. That one's worse. So there you go. That's how you know if you need new shocks. And I got new shocks. And I'm going to get on with that. I got to do the fronts and the sway bar links. And I'll be back in a few. And again, on both sides, well, yeah, I'll be back. Well, no, I'm right here. I took the shocks off, and when I measured the spring hangers, not the spring hangers, the shock hangers for both sides, again, the axle came down another 1.5 inches. Almost 2 inches below where the rough country shocks were limiting the travel. So the Bilsteins should be a lot better. I'm counting on it. And look. Let's check out this spring. Okay. Looks like the spring sags down pretty far. Yeah. Okay, so the spring's kind of loose. So, with that in with that under consideration, you would want something to limit your axle from coming down too far so your springs don't come out of place and whatnot. Typically, you don't want your shocks to do that job because you don't want to put the extra stress on the shocks. But since I don't have limiting straps or anything on here, the shocks will probably end up doing that job for the time being. So, but oh well. We'll see what happens. And with the new shocks, the ride should be substantially better than it has been the past few months. Anyway, I'll get some more work done and I'll bring you back in a little bit. Latest. Hey guys, how's it going? The other day I started a video on how to tell if your shocks are bad. Well, I got the shocks done and I'm going to show you the difference. Well, there you go. I can tell the difference. It definitely makes a lot less noise. And I guess I'll compare it to the other video, see if I can actually see a difference on film. But if not, yeah, there's definitely a lot more resistance in the up and down motion when you bounce on it. So I took it for a spin yesterday, and you can tell a difference on the road, that's for sure, between the bad shocks and the new ones. So I'll get back to you later. In the meantime, have fun. Stay lifted. Take it easy.